right, we are back. It is another edition, week 6 of the Football Friday Night podcast presented by the great people here at Sun City Sit Rep. If you're looking to start a podcast, if you're looking to jump into something new, if you've got a business, if you've got a great story, contact the great people, Sun City Sit Rep. They can put together a podcast for you. They could work with you with great mics like this. And it has been such a pleasure, such a treat to work with this great team here all season long here for Football Friday Night for Sun City Sit Rep. And then big shout out to VP Marketing, big shout out to Warrior Allegiance. They're also those sponsors of ours who bring us Football Friday Night each and every week. And we're back at it. It's week number 6. There's so much to get to here on the program today. Some tough news that we've got to bring up here on the show as well. We're going to preview week number 6. We're going to recap week number 5. We're going to look at the previews or the playoff preview as well. Zay is going to give out his Football Friday Night power poll, and we've got so much to get into. I'm Adrian Broadus. He's Zay Galindo, and we are back for another edition of Football Friday Night. Zay, we're back. People are starting to watch this show, and then I got coaches talking to me about this show. We've got parents, listeners starting to watch this show too. So it's nice to do that, and it's nice to have an extension after our usual Football Friday Night. And what we've been doing, we're live now. We've got the full show in full force right now, going every single Friday on 600 ESPN El Paso.
We do, and I think that it's good that there's a podcast like this, right? That we can just talk, two guys talking high school football, and some people will agree with us, some people won't, and that's the fun part, right? Everybody has their own opinions. Everybody wants to talk about high school football, and I'm ready, man. We're already over halfway through. Can you believe it?
Oh no, I can't. It actually pains me that that's the case. It's so sad that we're already at the midway point of the season. We pretty much kind of know who are the contenders, who's the outside looking in right now. We kind of know that, but still it's sad. I mean, the season always goes by in a blink of an eye, especially on 600 ESPN El Paso, where we have so many obligations and so many things that we do with the El Paso Chihuahuas. So to be in full season, full force right now, it's a good feeling, right? Like to be back at it, having Bo Bagley, Paul McKinnon back in our studios, taking you through and navigating you through all the different games out there. This week, we're going to have 9 reporters out at different games in high school football, and it's just going to be an exciting week of football out here. In week 5, what we got a chance to see were lopsided scores. We kind of saw that last week, but still a pretty exciting slate when it came to high school football. I would say the headline was America's beating Parkland. It was a back and forth matchup, and it was one of those games that when America's came into that second half, that's where they took over. And our co-host of that show, Paul McKinnon, kept saying, wait till the third quarter, wait till the third quarter. And once that second half went underway, that's where America's took over, and that sets up for our Warrior Allegiance game of the week this week, America's El Dorado. So how interesting is it that last week we had one of the best games involving America's? This week it's our Warrior Allegiance game of the week. So that's really exciting to see from this district and division right here.
Yeah, I think America's, they have, a really good run game. And I think that's why Paul, McKinnon was back in the studio saying, wait till the third quarter, because that's kind of what they do, right? They'll play you close in the first half, but they run it so damn much that it just wears down the defense. It wears down the defense, and it's so demoralizing, at times when you basically know America's is going to run the ball, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. They have 3 really good backs. I really like Maurice Edwards, Cam Johnson. Those two are probably their 2 lead backs that they use the most. And yeah, I mean, they just have power, they have speed, and they have a little bit of both, right? And that Parkland just couldn't get off the field defensively, and America's defense, I got to give them credit as well, because when they have momentum going their way, they get a quick 3 and out, and the opponent has to send their defense right back out there. So I really like that America's team. They're really dangerous if they can get the run game going, and we'll see if they can do that this week against the defending district champs in El Dorado.
Another good game on Friday, and really the only other good game I would say was Eastlake Montwood. And before we talk about I should say after the Falcons and the Rams, was a tight game here and there, and then Eastlake broke away in the second half. It felt like as soon as that game ended with you at the sack, you went over over to the Sac 1 and you got a chance to watch the end of this one, as soon as you went over, this game was pretty much over. Like, Eastlake really distanced themselves. They took control of that game. But that leads us to the breaking news that happened earlier this week. We heard it was KFox 14 and CBS 4 reporting about it. Eastlake head football coach Ruben Rodriguez arrested Sunday, September 28th, after physically assaulting his girlfriend, according to court documents that were obtained by KFox, obtained by KTSM, obtained by El Paso Times. An officer responded Sunday morning, early Sunday morning, 1 a.m. In East El Paso. It was a family violence call. An officer met with the victim, who appeared to be in distress, stated that head coach for Eastlake, Ruben Rodriguez, was her boyfriend. Victim told her that when she was getting ready for bed, they had an argument. And after that, Rodriguez pulled the victim by her hair, dragged her down to the floor in front of the bedroom. And then it was, a domestic violence case that really unfolded right there. When police spoke with Coach Rodriguez, he told police that he was asleep and he didn't know what happened or how the victim had the injuries. Jail records show that Rodriguez was booked under a $40,000 bond and then was released from El Paso County downtown jail the same day. The surety bond was posted. SISD issued the statement on Tuesday. Socorro ISD is aware of the arrest of the employee. The district doesn't comment on personal matters. Appropriate steps are being taken in accordance with district policy, and they will remain focused on supporting their students and schools. That's all the information that we have right now, and this is very early in a very sensitive subject right here. Of course, for us, we won't comment on our moral obligations or anything like that. I'll just say this: I will comment on the players themselves. I feel for the players at Eastlake. They've got a huge game coming up this Friday against Eastwood. They're in district play. This is a really, really awful news all around, and this obviously has ramifications that come up on Friday in their big matchup against Eastwood. Steve Escajeda will be out at this matchup on Friday out in East El Paso. Will be at Eastwood at Eastwood this week, but Eastlake's a really good team, and they're going to be without their head coach for awful reasons that are being alleged right now out there, and we're going to have to see what ends up happening here on Friday for the Falcons and how their students can kind of try to be as focused as they can during this whole process.
Yeah, it's just such an unfortunate situation, and for the players, that's just tough, right? It sucks in all those are the words I can give. It sucks for the players, and I just hope that they can stay focused, right? And because, like you said, it's a good team. It's a contender in a 1-6A, and that's a tough thing to do. So if they can try and kind of just stay focused for this game against Eastwood, hopefully we'll have a good one, because on paper these are two evenly matched teams, and this is probably both teams. Like, this is a huge game to see where you're at. It's district play just started, and whoever wins this one, they'll be able to be classified with the upper echelon of teams in El Paso.
I would also say winner of this one almost pretty much stamps their playoff ticket, right? Like, I can assume that the winner of this one will have the better of Montwood, Coronado, and Socorro at least. And then all the other ones, they'll have a really good shot to beat them too. So on the field wise, it's going to be an excellent game. Off the field, there's so many distractions regarding this story. It's been a huge topic of conversation in the high school football community, as it should. And, we're just going to have to wait and see what ends up happening throughout this whole process. Don't really know many of the details other than what was reported by some of the stations across town, and I'll just reference that. Other than that, it's just a bunch of hearsay. People on social media commenting about the subject. It's a sensitive topic right there. And again, one more time, I feel for the students. I feel for the seniors who really cared about this team and really wanted to do so much this year. Really feel for those guys right there. And so, for that Eastlake community, for the football players themselves, hoping that they could stay the course the rest of the season, and the timeliness couldn't have been worse for all of this to happen right here. Let's continue to recap week number 5 and some of the on a positive side, some of the other storylines to get to. Ysleta Austin, what a game. It delivered. It delivered up to the hype. It was so exciting. 4A maybe is starting to be decided, although people out there are saying, don't forget about Riverside, don't forget about our boy Carlos Rojas III, and I agree with all of that. But I will say this: the two great coaches on display, two different opposite play styles. Ysleta and Austin. Pichardo for Austin put together a great game plan. Joe Martinez over there at Ysleta. Wow. I mean, to go for that onside kick, to go up 2 scores, and really this was a possession by possession by possession battle. The team who had more possessions was going to win this game. And Ysleta, with getting that onside kick, scoring right after that, that's why they won this game right there. And that's great coaching right there by Coach Martinez. 43-28 was the final for Ysleta. They don't punch their tickets for 4A yet, but they're in a good place right now going into this final stretch of the season.
Yeah, I think that they're without a doubt they are the leading contender in that one, and it takes some guts, to perform an onside kick like that. But if it works, it works, and it worked perfectly for them. And I think that I've been a fan of Ysleta for most of the year. I had them as the only 4A team in the poll these last couple of weeks, and they proved why. I mean, they're just the past couple of years I've seen glimpses of what can be a really, really fun offense. And I think these past 2 years, really, they've really put it together and they found their groove offensively. So they're a really fun team to watch in 4A. And 4A, man, it's I feel like only some Texas high school football, fans, some sickos, as you might call it, might really hone in on 4A, but it's such a fun district. Every year, it's always you never really know what to expect. And I think that we had some continuity with Riverside the past couple of years and then Austin last year. And I just think that both Ysleta and Riverside, that's going to be such a fun game. It's a rivalry already. And when you put it together with these stakes in a couple of weeks, we'll see what happens. But I feel for right now, Ysleta is definitely the leaders for me.
How about Fabens and what they were able to do against Mountain View? What a great game it was. Back and forth, too. I mean, it was just exciting 4A games all around. Fabens Wildcats are here, and they might be a playoff team.
Yes, they might be, and I'm so happy. I mentioned Fabens a couple weeks ago. They were able to knock a win against San Eli, and now they beat Mountain View. I think they're 4-1 now, and man, I'm excited. I really like Fabens. I'm happy for them. They're a program that has really, really struggled these past couple of years. Post-COVID, it's been rough for them, but they're here. Like you said, the Fabens Wildcats are here. County football is here, and they have a huge game this week against Austin.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Austin game in just a little bit. Ping around to some other storylines around 5A. I think the coaching staff from Chapin High School was watching a little Football Friday Night on Demand and our podcast. I think they were watching a little bit of us because we've been saying it for weeks. Davion Singleton is the quarterback. He has to be the guy behind center. He is there. He's not a gunslinger. He's the best athlete on the field, no doubt about it. And they just weren't having luck finding him in space and getting him the ball where he could do what he does. And at the quarterback position, he gets to be the decision maker. He gets to be the guy who leads them down the field. It was evident by this week's dominant victory against Burgess. Wasn't close. And I think if they didn't make this quarterback change, it would have been a closer score. Although Chapin, I think, would have pulled that one out. Think they've got an identity at the quarterback position now. And we heard this stat last week. Chapin has never missed the playoffs since 2003. This has been an incredible run for them right now. And they've got to do whatever they can to protect this. I know they've got a tough game this week against Valle, but at least to recap from last week's storylines, this is a huge one right here. The Chapin Huskies finding a way to go forward with their guy, Davion Singleton, as QB1 in the big win against Burgess, by the way, 50-21. And I would say those 21 points were scored when this game was pretty much over. I mean, Chapin can get worn down defensively, but when you have Davion behind center, I think that's a great move. So shout out to Coach Chavez for making this decision with the Chapin Huskies. I think since he was a freshman, I loved watching him under center as a quarterback, even though he's not going to play that at the next level. He's going to be playing something different, like a wide receiver, running back hybrid role. But this will help Davion's growth, and I'm happy because maybe we'll get to see a little bit more relevant play from Davion Singleton here in this final stretch of the season for his senior year.
Yeah, I feel like his freshman and sophomore years, those are the years that he took the most snaps as a quarterback for Chapin, and I feel like those were his most productive years for them. I mean, he just, like you said, he's such a fun player to watch when he's under center, and I think that, it's just, that's the easiest way to get him the ball. You just snap it to him, and when you get Davion Singleton the ball, good things usually happen, and I think that people forget, right? He's kind of gone under the radar this year. He's a legit, he was a legit D1 guy. He's committed to UTEP for a reason. He has insane speed, quickness, agility, whatever you want out of an athlete. He's got it. He plays corner for them at times. So I'm excited for him. You mentioned it earlier. I think he gives them the best opportunity to win. And when you have a guy like Davion under center, nothing's impossible, right? They can put up points. They can compete with a team like Del Valle, but we'll see how that game goes.
Ernie Powers, another big storyline to hit on from week 5. We talk about him every week. The Franklin High School senior running back. He has only one true. He says he's got 3 D1 offers, but the FBS offer that he's got out there is UTEP. And for Ernie Powers, 27 rushing touchdowns. Let's talk history, right? Aaron Dumas back in 2019 rushed for 36 touchdowns in a single season. 2019 that broke the El Paso all-time record for rushing touchdowns in a single season. In that season as well, he had over 3,100 rushing yards, which was so impressive. I mean, this guy killed it at America's High School. And I remember, the bulk load of carries went to Aaron Dumas. Their whole offense went through Aaron Dumas those years at America's, and he reaped the benefits that season. Unfortunately, due to COVID and due to his final season being cut a little short, he wasn't able to achieve that all-time career rushing record from El Paso's history for Aaron Dumas, but for single season for rushing touchdowns, he shattered records. Ernie Powers right now, over 1,500 rushing yards as it stands going into week 6, and 27 rushing touchdowns. 27. He had 7 against Coronado last week. This guy has a chance to shatter the 36 rushing touchdowns that were set by Aaron Dumas way back when. And it really will only take, it won't take too much. He could shatter this record. He could go out there and maybe break some Texas statewide records when it's all said and done. We're going to have to really do our homework on what Ernie Powers can do. But man, this guy continues to show why he's one of the most, you called him one of the most underrated prospects in the state of Texas. It feels like we're on the precipice of other schools finally hopping on board and saying, okay, wait, he's the guy. Let's go out and offer him right there at the Power 4 level. Let's go throw him an offer. That hasn't happened yet. And I think he's maybe waiting for that before deciding on where he wants to go for college. But what a position he's in. His brothers killed it in high school. David Powers played college football. Stephen Powers played college football as well. Patrick Powers had the ability to play college football too. And you had all this lineage of Powers brothers in the family connection who's done it and who's played at a very high level. Stephen was committed to Army and played over there. You had David killing it at schools like Wofford and really racking up big plays and big tackles over there. He was a linebacker. But what Ernie Powers has been able to do, I don't want to say he's the best out of the Powers, but he might be the most, he might, when it's all said and done, be the most decorated prospect of them all, thanks to his stats for his senior season, which is turning out to be ultra productive. And big shout out to that offensive line. You got to give credit to Justin Morales and company, paving the way for that offensive front. A lot of credit goes to head coach Ruben Rodriguez instilling that run first approach for them. They're very patient with the run. They continue to attack defenses with that run. And man, Ernie Powers continues to be one of my favorite players to watch week in and week out.
Yeah, I think that he's gonna, end up being the most productive Power. Just when it comes to statistical wise, not only in his family, he might be the most productive, like you said, in El Paso history, the way that this season is going. And this guy is averaging basically 5 touchdowns a game. He's putting up seriously 35 points a game for Franklin by himself. And like you said, got to give credit to that offensive line too. But I've seen Division I guys come through El Paso. I've seen LJ Martin, seen Jeremiah Cooper. I've seen all these guys. And, I think Ernie, he's up to par from what I've seen with those guys. Just when it comes to the eye test, this guy can move so fast. He'll run you over. He's not like a tiny little elusive. He'll run you over. He'll juke you out. He has all the moves that you want out of a running back. And I don't know how, Power 4 coaches aren't, at least throwing a look towards this guy, because he's insane, right? And the stats show it. Everything shows it. And, he just has a great, that last name is just, it's great. Powers.
Yeah, Powers,
it's
right?
That's a football name right there.
Powers. Hey, you and I both host a lot of UTEP shows. We host Minor Talk. We host the Pater Pulse podcast together. There's a lot of talk when it comes to UTEP about their class of 2026 and Davion Singleton, who we just talked about from Chapin. He's already committed to playing for the Miners. Ernie Powers has an offer from UTEP. Where does that stack right now? Like, why can't they just get this one done? I fear that UTEP is or Powers, this timeline might not match, and the time UTEP might find or fill all their scholarships for 2026, and Powers might not be in that mix if he's not ready to commit just yet. And on the flip side, maybe if you're Powers and if you're in the Powers family, you're thinking, gosh, you're just 1, 2, 3 games away from getting all of the offers that you want from the SMUs of the world, from the New Mexicos of the world. And then the NIL starts to trickle in too. So it's a tough game, and it's a fine line that you're trying to tread throughout this whole process right here. How does UTEP get this done? And where do you feel like the Miners stand here in this whole recruiting process to try to get Ernie Powers?
Yeah, I think that, if that happens, if Ernie Powers isn't a Miner, when we're talking this National Signing Day, I'm gonna be kind of sad because he's such a player that I want to watch at the next level in person, But yeah, I mean, it's a risky game. You don't see a lot of guys go into their senior year not committed, especially when you already have an offer. But at the same time, it's risky, but it comes with rewards, like you were saying. The SMUs of the world, the Baylors of the world. I don't know. You can name them off a list. If he can just put a little bit more tape together, put some more stats, he can get one of those offers and he can get a spot on one of those teams. And it's risky. It's a risky game to play. You never know what might happen. God forbid something happens to him. And but we'll see. We'll see. I hope that UTEP is pursuing him as much as I believe they are. I mean, he went on an OV. He already has a teammate committed to UTEP as well, so we'll see. I don't know how UTEP is playing this, and I also don't know how Ernie and his family are playing this. And I think recruiting as a whole is the wild, wild west, especially with NIL. So I just hope the best for Ernie. And obviously, I have some bias towards UTEP, so I hope the best for them as well.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about some of the players who are shining from the D1 level on a national scale. LJ Martin killing it for BYU. Devin Deal, got to watch him against TCU in that nail biter against Arizona State. Man, that guy, he played for Pebble Hills. He still considers El Paso his hometown. Like, that guy is somebody who has a chance to play at the next level, play professionally in this sport. I think his size is the only thing holding him back, but man, he has the nose for the ball. The one that we have to spend some time on is Jeremiah Cooper, out for the rest of the year, a knee injury with Iowa State. I was hoping that he could be an NFL draft hopeful for 2026. And instead, we're talking about his season being cut short. Jeremiah Cooper still has another year of eligibility. He can come back and run it back for the Cyclones. I texted him earlier this week and wished him the best. And he knows that he's going to bounce back even bigger than what he's had recently. But our thoughts go out to Jeremiah Cooper, man. I mean, he was an all Big 12 defensive player, and he was going to shine for the Cyclones this year.
Yeah, I mean, Jeremiah Cooper, he's a loyal guy, first off. He's been playing at Iowa State since a true freshman, basically, and he stood with that program through the ups and the downs, and it just sucks that this happens now because this is the best year Iowa State has had while Jeremiah Cooper was there. I mean, right now they're inching towards the top 10. I think they're undefeated still. They're a real legit CFP contender, and I just hope the best for Jeremiah Cooper because he's such a fun player to watch. Shout out the Northeast. I grew up watching Jeremiah Cooper. I remember those good Andrews teams. He was kind of the heart and soul of that. They had so much fun things. And that number 4 in that maroon and gold, it was such a fun player to watch on both sides of the football. So I know he's going to bounce back and use it. If he uses that extra year of eligibility, he'll still have a shot in 2027 to make a legit draft run.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that completely. So let's do it. Let's jump into the Football Friday Night Power Poll, and let's just do it. Run it down for me, 10-1, Zay, and then I'll react.
So number 10 is America's. They've kind of hovered around this 10-11 spot these past couple of weeks, but got a big win against Parkland. I was there. I saw it. I'm not fully sold on this team yet, but I'm almost there. And they'll have a real shot to sell me against El Dorado. Number 8, I have Theo. Number 9, I have Theo. I debated putting Ysleta at this spot, but Ysleta earned the number 8 spot after they beat Austin. So Theo drops down one, Ysleta jumps up. Number 7, Andrus, the Golden Eagles. We talked about them extensively these last couple of weeks because they're just such a fun team to watch. Carmelo Jones, man. He's one of the best running backs in 5A, and I'm ready to say that. And going to number 6, the best running back in 5A is Ryan Estrada and his team, El Dorado. They come in at number 6. The Aztecs, huge game this week against America's round 1. They play each other down the road as well, so we'll see how that goes. Number 5, Eastlake. We all know what happened off the field, but on the field, they were able to put up a ton of points against Mount Wood, and that's what that offense is capable to do. If their defense can kind of put it together. I mean, 6A this year is starting to feel like the Big 12 in the early 2010s where defense was optional. So let's hope that Eastlake can put that defense together this week against the number 4 team, Eastwood. The Troopers are, you mentioned it a couple weeks ago. They're the most consistent team I think I've seen out of 6A. They really don't have a glaring weakness, and they're starting to put everything together. And, Coach Julio Lopez, it's a great program. I wouldn't bet against him in a huge game like this because he's been there before, and I really like Eastwood at number 4. Number 3, Pebble Hills. I think they were off last week, and they well deserved. They had to travel to Midland, they had to travel to New Mexico. They've had a wild schedule so far, so they finally get some rest. And I still like that team. They can't run the ball a lot. They need to figure that out. There's got to be someone on that team that they can tote the rock. And if they can figure that out, they'll have a shot against the number 2 team, which is Franklin. Cougars destroyed Coronado in the West Side Bowl. I mean, I was thinking, okay, it's a rivalry game. Might be a little bit closer than we expected. No. Franklin went out there, took care of business. Their defensive line absolutely feasted on Coronado's O-line, both in the running game and the pass game. So, in all, Franklin, they really do look like one of the best teams that I've seen in a while coming from the 6A ranks. But they still lost to the number 1 team in El Paso, which is Del Valle. Jake Fetty, we don't have to say much about him, right? Yeah. We know. So I like Jake Fetty. The Playboy card Fetty on Fetty. Like he just reminds me of a good quarterback. He's just, there's no one like him, man. I haven't seen anybody like him. Probably won't ever see anyone like him ever again. But never say never, I guess. Del Valle. They keep that number 1 spot. They've been there for a couple of weeks now, and I don't see them moving anytime soon.
Yeah, I think the thing you could say about Fetty is to find good quarterback play is tough, but to find elite quarterbacks here in El Paso who could take it over the top is even tougher. And I just want to say, like, for them being number 1, it's the best player on the best team, making that team even better week in, week out. And you can't count them out. I mean, like, I counted them out against Franklin when I did infamously. And, I won't do it again. I won't count this team out because the only time I think that they're maybe vulnerable to any other teams is maybe against Andrus, like you said, who's really heating up. And I think they're starting to catch some steam here. Could they be the second best team? Maybe they could, but maybe they're also a year away from being that number 1 team overall in that district. So let's do it. Let's jump. I agree with most of what you said right there. I'd say that the Eastwood ranking is pretty interesting to me, and it'll be interesting if those two of like Eastwood and Eastlake, if that performance will make you continue to have them in the top 5, or if those two will drop back just a little bit and other teams like El Dorado can slide up, or even, a school like Ysleta can catapult up to that. So been great football that we've seen this year, and a little bit more competitive than I thought. I thought it was going to be a little bit more top heavy. I think it's reflective by some of the close games that you've seen by the quote unquote top teams in each district. We've just seen competitive outputs from a lot of these teams. So let's do it. We're talking week number 6. Before we get to our Warrior Allegiance game of the week, which is El Dorado Americas, you alluded to it. Let's jump into some other storylines from some other games, okay? We'll start off with Fabens Austin. And my big question, and it's the glaring question, is Fabens ready? 4-1 taking on 2-2 Austin, who's obviously the more talented, the team who's been there more, and the home team in this. Are they ready for this right here?
We'll see. The trip from Fabens all the way to Central El Paso, that's like a 45, nearly 50-minute trip, even with traffic. So bit of a long bus ride coming up for them. And, the big thing here is Austin is the more experienced team. They've played big games plenty of times. They played one last week against Ysleta versus Fabens. They're barely getting underway. They really haven't played as big as a game as this one in probably 5-6 years. So, it'll be interesting to see. I think we'll have a clearer grasp of what Fabens really is. They've beaten everybody they should have beaten. Now they have a chance to pull off an upset. And, it just reminds me of a lot of rebuilding teams when they're finally good. How good is Fabens really? We'll find out this week against Austin. And for my hope, I hope the Wildcats give the Panthers a game.
Yeah, I do too. And I'll ask the same question. Is Chapin ready for Del Valle? They killed Burgess last week, 50-13. Can they hang around this game and maybe make it a game going into the fourth quarter, so at least Del Valle has to sweat this one out? 1-4 Chapin, by the way, versus 5-0 Del Valle.
I think with the Huskies, the thing that I see out of them is, I want to. It would help if they played maybe Jefferson this week and then they play Del Valle next week. I feel like it was Andrus, you get that big L, then you bounce back with Burgess. I just don't think their confidence is all the way up there yet to kind of take down or try and take down a beast like Del Valle. But never say never, right? Like I said, if Del Valle, their defense is pretty good, but Davion Singleton, man, he can will you to hopefully maybe a 1 or 2 possession game going into that fourth quarter. So I wouldn't doubt it, but we'll see. I don't know what to expect out of the Huskies yet.
Yeah, I don't either. I think I do expect Davion to keep it closer. You're going to hear our very own Joe Rodriguez call up an emphatic call about Davion Singleton scoring a touchdown for them, but this is a lopsided score and Del Valle just crushes them, I wouldn't also be that surprised either. So going to be interesting. By the way, Fetty and Singleton used to play each other all the way through prep football and stuff. And it was one quarterback on one side, one quarterback on the other side. So going to be cool to see that kind of come to fruition for the final time, right? Like they've played each other so many times during their high school career. It's a testament to how good they were at such a young age, both Jake Fetty and Davion Singleton, but also a testament to how many great games we've had between Chapin and Del Valle over the years. This is the last time they'll play each other.
Yeah, and Davion's never beaten Fetty in high school, so we'll see if that senior year he can pull off the upset.
There you go. Pebble Hills, Coronado, same question. Is Coronado ready? Pebble Hills coming into this one, like you mentioned, bye week for them. Coronado, a bad loss against Franklin. They're reeling right now. They need some kind of juice going their way. I don't know if they're going to find it this week. The good thing is they're home. And they get to take on a Pebble Hills team here in this matchup. I've seen this Coronado team go up against, a school like a Pebble Hills and have success in the past, but I don't know if they're going to actually get it.
Yeah, I think the good thing, like you said, is they're home, so they'll have an awesome view. It's a great view over there at Coronado High School, the field. But it's different from Chapin because at least Chapin has shown us that they have the ability at times to put up points and really put it all together. I really haven't seen a complete performance from Coronado. I know they beat Parkland by a few scores, but still, I need to see more. I need to see more Sal Duarte. I don't know what's going on with there. He's only gotten a couple carries. I don't know if it's just they can't fit him in. He really doesn't fit the scheme. Because I saw the guy at Austin. Like, he can move. He's a legit guy that I believe in. And I think he'd work well next to West or even Ben Wilson at that. But we'll see with Coronado. I want them to win. I want them to be a contender because I think high school football is funner when Coronado is good, but we haven't seen that in some years. They've been on the verge, and if they lose this one, you can kind of just count your playoff hopes out.
Yeah, I'd say even though they're playing the two juggernauts back-to-back weeks, right, Franklin and Pebble Hills, it's going to be a tough battle or like tough hill to climb to try to get yourself back into the playoffs. It's not impossible. Sal Duarte has experienced some injuries this year. Wes Stansberry's trying to get better week in, week out. That O-line is suspect for Coronado and can't really do a lot when he has zero protection right there. So Eastlake, Eastwood, we previewed it before. I'll just say my final words on this one right here is Jude Walker's status is questionable. So could this game still be close? Could Eastwood still pull off the game without their best player in Jude Walker offensively if he's unable to go? That's still a question mark right there, and whether or not he's okay. He dinged himself up in that game against Socorro, so that's what's possibly going to keep him out here on Friday.
Yeah, Jude Walker, he's such a fun player to watch. Like, if you watch Prime Debo Samuel, like, you kind of get a feel of how they use
Yeah.
a guy like Jude Walker. He'll line up in the backfield. He'll take a screen pass. He'll go up and get a pass if you want him to. So, hope is that if he does play, then I think Eastwood is probably would be my pick here. But even if he doesn't, I still like the Troopers in this one. They have such a good balanced run game, and they have a guy like Kingston Jeffries under center that I really like. I think that he's grown a lot throughout the whole year. So, yeah, I'd go with the Troopers here, but Eastlake can put up points. And if they can get a couple stops defensively, I also don't want to go against that offense with Julian Williams. He's really kind of grown into his own, figuring that system out. So I think it should be a fun one.
Final game, El Dorado, America's game of the week. It's our Warrior Allegiance game of the week. So excited about this one right here. And this one will be played out in East El Paso. On one side, you got Ryan Estrada. On the other side, you got a Trailblazer squad that's hungry. And this is going to be a first game of a 2-game series between these teams here in this one. The Super 5A teams play each other twice because of the small district. But you tell me, give me your preview on this one right here. And how do you see it stacking up?
Yeah, so I've been lucky enough to watch both of these teams throughout the year, and they both have shown me their highs and lows. I saw El Dorado lose; they snapped their 13-game winning streak against in the regular season to Eastwood a couple of weeks ago in a tight one, and then I saw America's just dominate Parkland in the second half, and in all they went on the road and beat Hanks in a hostile environment. So I've seen the ups and downs of both teams. I know what they're capable of, and I just see this one is where they're going to combine for probably like 1,000 rushing yards. And in all seriousness, like these teams are going to run the ball, and for good measure, they have really good running backs on both sides. But I think the battle will truly come down to who can sling it more. Can America sling it? Can El Dorado sling it? Can Bryson Booth be the truth in this one? We'll see, because he has more weapons offensively than America's. El Dorado does. They have an MSU commit Jadarius Sanders. They have, I think his name is Sean Bryant, another really good receiver. They have more weapons. I need to see them get more involved and kind of alleviate the pressure off of Ryan Estrada, because everybody in the SAC will know they're going to run the ball with Estrada. America's will be sure to try and stop it. And yeah, he's going to have his breakaway run or two in this one. He's going to have over 150 yards rushing, but there's going to probably be a chance that Bryson Booth is going to need to convert a 3rd and long, a crucial 4th and maybe 8, where you can't run the ball, where you have to throw it. And in those situations, I think that's where the game will be won. So I have hope. I have hope in Booth. But I also have hope in America's too, because like I said, 3 really good backs that can break off a run like this. If they can wear down your defense, which an El Dorado defense, who I think has been a little off and on throughout this year, I think we're going to have a really fun game. Tune into Football Friday night, because this one really could end up being back and forth, or it could be a blowout. You never really know how both teams are going to play, considering it's only round 1.
Yeah.
There's still another game down the road to be played. You might scheme for that one a little bit more, and I don't know. I don't know what to expect, but I think El Dorado, I'm comfortable saying they'd be the favorite in my mind. But America's, like I said, they're scrappy, gritty. So it's a battle of similar teams on one end, but a little bit different, I guess, physicality-wise.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm real excited for it. It's Football Friday night, week number 6. We're back at it. 6:30 pregame show on 600 ESPN El Paso. 7 o'clock, all the games will kick off and get underway. Poe Bagley, Paul McKinnon, all of us will be back at the studios getting ready for this big night of high school football, and we're really here. These are the crunch time moments of Football Friday night. So October is here. September is gone. This is when all the games truly matter. Special thanks again to our great friends here at Sun City Sit Rep. They bring us Football Friday Night podcast each and every week. Special thanks to Warrior Allegiance. They sponsor our game of the week every single week. And then this show is powered by VP Marketing as well. If you're looking to start a podcast, if you've got a business out there, if you've got a team, if you got a great story, reach out to the people here at Sun City Sit Rep. They can put you through this awesome podcast studio, or just make sure that you download and subscribe. You can keep up and stay tuned with all the different community stories that are out there for Sun City Sit Rep. You can go back and see some of the great guests that they've had over the years, and check out this YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe and stay tuned with us each and every Thursday as we drop our Football Friday Night podcast. That'll do it for us. For Zay Galindo, I'm Adrian Broadus. That'll do it for us here for week number 6. We are done today, and we'll be back in action next week for another edition of Football Friday Night podcast here at Sun City Sit Rep.